Mike, we're looking back. We're a week into 2013. I'm going to say 12. See, I'm writing checks out. I keep writing the long number down. 2013. Let's look back at 2012. What stands out in sports, locally, nationally, worldly? I don't know. We can talk about the Olympics as well. Top stories, top people. Let's go back and forth here.
To me, the top person in sports in 2012 was LeBron James. I think getting the championship, doing it the way he did it, and then the Olympic experience that he had, and going from the best basketball player in the world to being a champion. I think that we could see that happen, and we could in particular see it happen in that game against the Celtics, where he just took the Celtics apart in Boston by himself. Had like 45 and 16 or something like that. To me, he is the person of the year. Even if you don't like LeBron James, but a lot of people don't. I do. Even if you don't like him, it's hard to deny the impact that had on the sport going forward of his becoming a champion. I think this is the only time that I can ever remember where the story of the year, the sort of news story of the year in sports, was the same 2 years in a row. I think it was Penn State. I think it was Penn State 2 years in a row. With the Joe Pa / Sandusky / Bill O'Brien and moving forward thing that kind of carried over into 2 years. So I think 2 years in a row.
That leads to my person of the year is Bill O'Brien for what he had to go through from January of 2012 to now January of 2013, which is his name's in there for different reasons. We did another video segment. Yep. He's up for a lot of NFL coaching jobs because of what he did, how he's able to keep things together. Jeffrey Luria, the owner of the Eagles, said one of the things he looks at is not as much X's and O's as leadership skills. Well, under fire, Bill O'Brien showed some phenomenal leadership skills plus X's and O's. Penn State became relevant not just to see how they'd react on the field, but because they were fun to watch again, which hasn't happened in several years. He made that offense fun to watch. The defense looked good. They were a fun 8-4 record, but they were much better than that. I'm watching some of these bowl teams now going, seriously, these guys are playing in bowls. They don't deserve to be there. Penn State.
Well, three teams that played yesterday on New Year's Day, Penn State beat. And you're right. You're right. And the reason he's such a compelling figure in 2012 is the reason that he is such a compelling figure for owners who are looking for a football coach right now. He went beyond being the hot coordinator. Right. He was that. He was the hot coordinator. Now he's a guy who can lead people in completely unique circumstances. So that's why
I'm going to throw up a couple runners up for my people of the year. And my one will stay with Penn State, Matt McGloin. This guy, we wanted that O'Brien kid from transferring in from Maryland, and he went to Wisconsin. We wanted him. We wanted anybody but Matt McGloin.
Yep.
He came in there and was very impressive this year. And really, again, it goes back to showing how impressive O'Brien is as a coach. But Matt McGloin had a great year. And again, he was a great leader on that team for Penn State. Two more I want to throw out there, Olympic style, Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps. But these guys got into their sports and had all this pressure to repeat and to recapture their previous glory. And in most instances, they did it. And they did it looking really good out there. So that was a lot of fun this past summer as well to watch those guys under a huge spotlight to shine again, and they did.
There were a lot of sad sports stories in 2012. One of them certainly was the Penn State thing, but also the way the Lance Armstrong thing played out. An NFL player killing his girlfriend and then killing himself. The whole endless thing with the NFL with concussions and Bountygate and how the NFL is going to deal with the problems that are sort of unique to football. I realize there's concussions in all sports and in all areas of life, but some problems I think are kind of unique to the NFL going forward. So that was sort of a sobering part of 2012. It always seems like there's too much of that, but it seemed like there was an extraordinary amount of it in this year.
A little bit of credibility comes back to Lancaster's Floyd Landis because he's one of those guys that sort of blew the whistle on him. And he a little bit. I'm not going to give a lot. And I also feel that right now we have the hockey has a labor dispute going on, a lockout, and it gets frustrating when you're dealing with millionaires out there or guys with lots more money than you and me, and both sides of the table here, and they're going to dispute over things that just seem like they should be out there playing.
And it really is. It really is the continuing moving of the back to the back of the sports section of the National Hockey League. I mean, it's just not. It's just not a mainstream attraction. That's the bottom line.
I got to bring up two more. One is the Eagles that have 2 years ago, even last year, the expectations we had, and they've gone back to 4-12 in the regression.
It's amazing what happened to that football team. It really is. It really is amazing.
And the Phillies, is it the end of the era, Mike, or is this just a hiccup last year? But they've gone backwards, and it's not the best way. The first year they make the playoffs in what 6 years now, 5 years to win these divisions all in a row here. Are we seeing the end of that streak?
The Philly sports
dynasty.
teams. Yeah, the Philly sports teams are not in great shape right now. That's ever changing. I mean, I'm not going to say that's a huge, verdict. But at the moment, things don't look great in Phillies. So we've got that to deal with too. On one hand, I think we don't get carried away. We shouldn't get too carried away with putting these margins on the year in sports, because sports never stops. It keeps coming and it keeps coming and keeps coming. And the only thing that's constant is change. And there's going to be more of that in 2013.
Change and fiscal cliffs.
There you go.